All right. So, one of the biggest things that my brother-in-law Ryan is very good with is recommendations, especially with films that came out in the 80s. So, The Burning came out in 1981. It's rated R. It's an hour and 31 minutes. It's kind of cheesy. Um, Kind of gives some Friday the 13th vibes. As you can tell, the murder weapon is not a machete, but what are those prune like prune shears? Anyway, so the film starts off. They're at camp, and these boys decide that they want to uh, play a joke on the caretaker, and they play a joke on the caretaker, and he ends up basically being burnt alive. Surprisingly, he survives it. Excuse me. Sorry. And so we go to the hospital, and we find out that, like I said, that he survived, and that I think it's like, I don't know, 3 years, maybe 4 years later. I don't know. But anyway, so he's released because, he didn't do anything bad. And so we kind of, we jump right into the action. So the cast does have Brian Matthews as Todd, which is one of the boys who, played the prank on him. We have Brian Backer as Alfred. We have Larry Joshua as Glazer. We have Jason Alexander as Dave. We have Ned Eisenberg as Eddie. We have Fisher Stevens as Woodstock. And we have Holly Hunter as Sophie. Now, like I said, so we dive right into it. The caretaker goes back to the camp, and he just starts picking them off one by one. And it doesn't really start, it doesn't jump out until they go for a canoe trip, just like the older kids. They go to the canoe trip for 3 days to like a remote island that's from maybe, I don't know, not I wouldn't say an hour, but a decent amount of the way that you couldn't swim from point A to point B. And so once they get there, people like I said, they just get picked off, and they don't really. I mean, they don't know what to do. The kills in this film, like I said, even though it's in the 80s, they're very realistic. They're kind of cheesy, but that's what a lot of the films in the 80s were. They were cheesy, but they stuck with you. And that's why they're all considered cult classics, especially, like I said, films in the 80s, not just horror films. So, anyway, so once the, Todd and the female counselor, they find out that this is all going on, Todd goes, hey, get everyone to safety. I'm going to deal with this guy. And, it's the same, heroic thing, and there's so many twists and turns in this. People are having sex, people's fingers are getting cut off. It's just a giant whirlwind. It's basically Friday the 13th before Friday the 13th happened. That's all. Granted, Friday the 13th had a better franchise than The Burning, but it's still one hell of a film. I didn't think I was going to like it, honestly, because my biggest thing when I go for films, I look for the actors, and nobody jumped out at me. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this. And it was very enjoyable. So IMDb gave it a 6.3 out of 10. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 because, it was cheesy, but the storyline was good. I feel like the acting could have been a lot better. But at the same token, I didn't feel like it wasted my time. And I don't think you would either. So if you are interested in watching it, it's on Tubi. A lot of the 80s films that I review on here will probably be on Tubi. But give it a watch. Let me know what you think.